Welcome, my friends, to the Spirituality, Healing, and Vision Quest podcast, where we're going to take a deep dive into universal spiritual principles and ground them in modern day practices that you can apply to your life today. Hi, my name is Beth Berkins, and I want you to know that I am really committed to simplifying ancient wisdom practices. I've been studying them for over 40 years now and inside of them, and I want to give you easy to understand, proven and reliable keys that are going to unlock true sources of power and healing for you. You're going to walk away from this podcast with some practical tools to create that greater meaning and purpose, that larger purpose that your soul is calling you to. All right, so let's get going on the next episode. Thanks for joining me. Good morning, my friend, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Mother Earth. Hey, I'm Beth Berkins, as you know, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you today. I want to talk about something that is so important for our health, our well-being, the search, the journey that we're on, and it's inside of shamanism. Shamanism is red hot on the planet right now because we're living in a time when things are out of balance, and it is the method that all of our ancestors once used to create and maintain balance inside of ourselves, inside of themselves, on the planet itself, with the animals, the waters, the sun, the moon, the stars, the trees. So let's take a moment. I'm going to use my Peruvian rattle. We'll just rattle for a minute. Invite you to just breathe wherever you are, walking the dog, driving the car. I know you've been doing a lot today, serving a lot of people. And you may be in a place where, you're a little bit anxious or stressed, or you're really searching for something in your life. That's why you're here, how you found me. So let's go the traditional route. It's the first time I'm doing this on a podcast, and I know it's the right thing to do and what is needed right now today. So I'm going to rattle with you, invite you to breathe, a nice deep breath of life from the trees that are all around you, wherever you are. And call your compassionate spirits to come in. It may be an animal that you're connected to in your neighborhood, or a stand of redwoods in your neighborhood, or up on the mountain that you walk, or maybe, a stand of birches down in Big Sur. Whatever that is, let's get a connection, and then I'm going to share with you something really life-saving, revolutionary, and thrilling. Here we go. Very good. So, we all have shamanic ancestors. You can go back on your father's line, your mother's line, to any of the inhabited continents on the planet, and there you will find your people living in tribes close to the earth with shamans, with these amazing healers, with medicine women, with guides who are connected with earth-based healing ceremony. So for thousands of years, shamans have created maps. How do you get into the hidden worlds of the helping spirits? They wanted to draw it. They wanted a clear map. And as they drummed their drum, the face of the drum was painted with those maps. Sometimes in black paint, sometimes very colorful paint. And as we look at these maps, we see the gods and the goddesses depicted right there in the upper worlds of healing, where the shaman would go on what we call a shamanic journey, a trance flight, getting into an altered state of consciousness, leaving this world and going to where the healing was to be found. She would have a patient in her tribe who was sick, who was lost, who was confused, perhaps even dying, who'd asked for help. And the top of the drum would be painted with those gods, those goddesses, and the access route. Maybe it was climbing a tree. Maybe it was using a shaman's ladder. You could see that on the shaman's drum. We also see, when we look at these painted shaman's drums, who the shaman met with in the shamanic lower world. These spirits are very often what we call power animal helpers. The power animals give answers. They give guidance. They solve problems about very important life issues. Now, here's the amazing thing, my friend. We are all the fortunate heirs of this 60,000-year-old healing and divination tradition. We call this shamanism. The word shaman means the one who sees in the dark, the one who gets into an altered state of consciousness, a trance state, and travels into these hidden universes, which are filled with healing, filled with light, filled with compassion, filled with wisdom, filled with knowledge. We are heirs to this tradition. We're not separate from this. That's why you're on this podcast, right? This is in your bones, in your heart, in your blood. It's part of your own ancestry. And you're looking, you're searching. It's the world's oldest spiritual tradition. And it's part of our spiritual roots. You follow all of the world religions down the world tree, down into the roots. And there we have shamanism. So I want to tell you a story about me. And not because I want you to know more about me. This is about you. I'm hoping that in my story, it's going to spark something of your own story that maybe has been hidden or overlooked or dormant. So after I finished my PhD program in philosophy, I felt very lost. I was so unsure of my path in life. I just kept telling myself, just get through this, you can do this. By the time I finished, I knew for sure what I did not want to do with my life. What I had been training for 8 years, to be a tenure-track philosophy professor. I didn't want that. So my road just came to a dead end. I was at a standstill. I was completely confused. I didn't even have like a crossroads. I could go this way or I could go that way. I had no idea what I really wanted to do. I only knew what I didn't want to do. So when you don't know what you want to do, what do? Well, what I did was I found this cabin off the grid up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and I moved in. I chopped wood and I hauled water for 3.5 years. I listened to my dreams. I wrote in my journal. I called out for guidance. Help me. I didn't even know who I was calling out to. I didn't know shamanism then. I just knew philosophy. All I could do was just open myself to receive help and guidance. I walked the wild forest trails This was still very wild up here in the Santa Cruz Mountains at this time. I watched the moon rise. I watched the moon set. I watched the sunrises. Oh my God, so beautiful. I watched the sunset. I listened to the red-tailed hawks calling and circling over the big meadow near me. I laid a fire every night. I watched the fire flickering and crackling in my old wood-burning stove. I didn't know this then, but I was in the dark night of the soul. And I had no guidebook, no therapist, no shaman, no medicine woman to help me get out of this. So what I did was I listened to the redwoods and I watched them waving in the breeze. I would go out to the meadow and lay in the meadow and look at the night sky. All these constellations turning around the North Star. I was looking for my North Star. All I could do was just tune in to all of the natural world that was around me. It knew what it was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. But as I watched these constellations, I was being held and I was being healed in this vast container of the whole universe. They had a rhythm. They were in balance. They were in harmony. The stars, the sun, the moon, the redwoods, the creek that flowed beside the cabin, the wild plants that I was learning about, the lemon verbena, the silver sage. Their rhythm gave me back my own rhythm. And my dreams, I was tracking them. They really pointed the way for me out of the dark, thick wood, which is Dante's name for the dark night of the soul. And as I followed my dreams, they led me to offering brand new courses never offered before in colleges. Religion, mythology, ritual, healing. I found myself teaching about shamans, teaching about ancient goddess religions. I didn't learn any of this in my 8 years of philosophy training. And what happened for me during this 3.5-year search of hauling water and chopping wood was I discovered a little known secret, the shaman's map to power and purpose. Having this map, following this map, discovering this map, uncovering this map, healed the migraines that I had in graduate school that were debilitating. Healed the ulcer that I developed from the stress, from squashing down that inner voice that said, this is not for you, Beth. I squashed that voice down. So my body symptomized. Having this map healed all of those symptoms effortlessly without drugs, filled me with true spiritual power, and guided me to find and live my greater purpose. And I am so incredibly grateful for this time in my life. People ask me, Beth, how did you get here in your life? How did you find shamanism? And how is it that you've become an international best-selling author and a shamanic healer and a writing teacher? And I always say it all goes back to the Santa Cruz Mountains, living off the grid. All my work goes back. All the roots are there, where I got plugged into what we call the shaman's net of power, where I got healed, where really I became whole again after the fragmentation of graduate school. So over the last 30 years, I've shared this shaman's map with thousands of people worldwide. And I've helped them connect with a kind of unshakable life force, undeniable life force, and discover, each person has discovered what she has uniquely been put on the planet to do. That greater purpose, that greater meaning. You know that you're meant for more. You wouldn't be here listening to me if you didn't know that, and you're searching for that in some way, in your own unique, beautiful, powerful way. So with the support and the guidance of this shaman's map of power and healing, I've seen my clients launch their businesses where they've been stuck for years, be able to launch those businesses, to finally start writing their books, where they've postponed for months, for years, to be able to really believe in themselves, to start offering their healing sessions to other people, to benefit people. I've also, with this map, helped people realize, I want to go back to college. I never finished. I've seen people return just so powerfully back to college and get their degree. It's working with this map gives you a kind of unshakable confidence to really move forward with your dreams. And so if you are someone who would really benefit from, finding your greater purpose, maybe you've been searching for a while. If you would benefit from accessing and getting plugged into these true sources of power, maybe you've kind of been languishing and just bumping along from circumstance to situation to condition, and you'd love some more support and help in having a clear understanding of where you are right now on your path, I recommend that you hop on a breakthrough call with me. This is completely complimentary, on Zoom, or if you prefer, on phone. We can also talk about bridging the gap from where you are in your life to where you really want to be. You've got one wild and precious life, as Mary Oliver so eloquently called it in her poem. We want to be living that life. We don't want to be postponing. We don't want to be waiting, procrastinating, till we've got all of our ducks in a row. They'll never be in a row. This is your moment. This is your time. And wherever you are is the entry point, my friend. You are at the entry point. So we can talk about bridging that gap that you're aware of between I'm here and I want to be there. If you feel you would benefit from this, it's one-on-one support, completely complimentary, then just click on the free session link below. Hop on my calendar and let's get you going. Let me share this shaman's map of power and purpose with you. I so look forward to seeing you very, very soon. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as I enjoyed recording it. So any questions, any comments, please feel free to connect with me personally on my website, bethberkins.com. And if you feel guided to, one thing that I do ask is for you to rate the podcast. This way we can reach way more people, and in that way impact more lives, of course. So with that, I'll see you on the next exciting Spirituality and Vision Quest podcast.